Hi, my name is Heather Verdino, and I did my project on reproductive justice and the overturning of Roe v. Wade. In a short term, reproductive justice is basically women making rights about their own bodies and what to do with them. So these kind of rights can include the right to make decisions about your own body and whether to have an abortion or to not have an abortion. It also covers things like sex education and access to contraceptions and raising children in a good, safe environment. So the first reproductive movement organization that had come together was the Sister Song group in 1997. Sister Song is a nonprofit, and when they started off, it was run by 16 organizations. All of them were led by women of color to help start the reproductive justice movement. So the Sister Song organization was a great nonprofit that paved the way for a lot of other organizations to start fighting for women's rights. So we had women with low incomes, women of color, women with disabilities, and even people from the LGBT community coming together, fighting for rights for women because they felt so marginalized in, the society they were living in. This was when the whole pro-choice, pro-life started coming to light because some people believe that, there should be access to free abortions or abortions in general, contraceptives, and then, there's the other side where they don't believe that we should have abortions at all and abortion is a murder. So we all know about the overturning of Roe v. Wade and how now there is less access, depending on each state, to abortions. For people who are pro-choice, this was a huge step back. Basically, we're going back in time. And those who are pro-life, it was a huge success when this was overturned. Now, there's limits to abortions, and depending on what state you are in, and limit to contraceptives. People have struggled with, getting access to sex education in schools. A lot of schools don't teach it, and ones that do teach sex education, they try to just promote abstinence instead of safe sex. So risky abortions happen even more now from, the lack of resources, and this is really detrimental to women and causes a lot of deaths. State legislative efforts to limit abortions have now almost become commonplace. In 2013 and 2014, there were legislation that was passed that now makes women have a waiting period before they can get an abortion. So say you go into the clinic for an abortion, they make you have an ultrasound, and you have to look at the baby, and then they make you wait a day and then come back to the office, the same office, to have the procedure done. Now, my ask in all of this is, I do believe that a woman should have a right to choose what to do with her body. I mean, there should be restrictions, but completely illegalizing this is just insanity, in my opinion. If abortion was completely illegal, rape victims, I know they don't account for the majority percentage of abortions in the United States, but they still do happen, and we can't make exceptions if abortion is completely illegal. So these women who are rape victims will have to carry the rapist baby. Also, if the woman has health issues and she could possibly die from carrying or delivering the fetus, this would also be detrimental if abortions were illegal and no exceptions were made at all. She would also suffer in that type of situation. So I do think abortions should be legal, of course, but maybe we should limit by trimester when it is okay and not okay to have one. So what I would recommend is just having more government-funded programs to help women of all kinds have access to contraceptives in a safe way. And there should be government-funded programs to provide sex education for everybody in schools. Also, giving parents access to high-quality, affordable childcare could also be implemented by government funding. We should also enact new state and federal policies that protect access to safe abortions to limit those risky abortions and death on women who participate in these risky abortions. Overall, women are so limited on their reproductive rights that as social workers, we should be advocating for those who cannot. We can advocate for sex education. We could advocate for government funding. We can advocate for safe abortions. We can give people resources to be better parents and to know how to parent. Overall, there are so many things social workers could do to help out the reproductive justice movement, and I believe it would be a disservice if we didn't speak up and use our voices.